before we start, I have one more pre-show thing that was fun just to talk about for a moment.
Okie dokie.
I got an opportunity, which I don't know if all of us have this thing, but like when someone asks you about your special interest.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's my whole thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a little mystery. So Merritt K, friend of the show, asked me if I could remember the name of a game. It's a fighting game where it loads up a different title and characters if you hold the buttons on the controller while booting.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, and she was like, and it would have been around the Jaguar era. Anyone have that in their mind? Any thoughts?
My first thought is ask Brandon Sheffield.
I'm going to throw out Kasumi Ninja.
Nice.
Is it Kasumi Ninja?
It's not. So I was like, yeah, I'm thinking of this or that, but it feels like, did Cosmic Carnage do that for the 32X? And she's like, oh yeah, that's it. Cosmic Carnage, aka Cyber Brawl in Japan, if you held the buttons down, it presented itself as Cyber Brawl, and all the character names got changed and stuff. And I was just like, thank you, Merritt, for giving me this opportunity. Like, this is what it's all for. This is why I have all this nonsense in my house, is so sometimes
I was able to remind one person of one thing.
Yes.
You're kind of like people's large language model, but for game knowledge. You're like a personal people text you when they have complicated word processing needing problems where you couldn't really Google it.
That's right. Except I have to burn forests down manually and stuff.
Wow.
I can't.
Hasn't gotten around to it yet, so we're all waiting.
Yeah, I do that for comics, except I drink a liter of diet soda between every question.
That's how you cool off.
Exactly.
After thinking, right?
Liquid cooled.
A glittering island, an exquisite city of stardust. This is episode 389 of the Insert Credit Show, a video game discussion forum with horrible buzzers and tolerable panelists. I'm Alex Jaffe, and something I like to do in games that I have done in real life before, but never want to do again, is drive a car.
That's very complicated.
Wow. Okay. Gosh, what have I done in real life?
Who are you?
I'm Frank Cifaldi, first of all, and I have to be the first one to think of something that I've done in real life.
That is your role on the show, yes.
That is my role on the show. God, I haven't lived, I haven't bungee jumped, I haven't done anything regrettable. I don't know. Oh, I'm Frank Cifaldi, and something that I've done in games that I've also done in real life and never want to do again is I'm not going to say hard drugs because there's an extreme implication there, but medium drugs. I'm done with medium drugs.
But not in video games.
Right, because sometimes they give you extra ability.
Right, like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
That's a medium drug.
Okay, this is going to be a stretch.
All right, stretch it out.
My name is Ash Parrish, and one thing that I have done in video games and have done in real life that I never want to do again is hang out with Kanye West.
Oh, wow. What? Okay, you have to... I need details.
We're from Chicago. Well, not from Chicago. We're from Northwest Indiana, but like the part of Northwest Indiana that is just easy to say, Chicago. A lot
just
of
like the Pope.
Yeah, exactly. Friends, family, a lot of family history in that area. Also famously where Chicago is, or where Kanye West is from. I have a sister. I have a younger sister. My sister's family, her aunt dated Kanye West for a little bit. And this was before he was a rapper. I was like a young child. But I'm retroactively applying. I do not want to hang out with Kanye West again. But yeah, she was dating Kanye West, and we were all together, and we were like playing board games, and we all took a picture. And there's a picture. I think my sister has it. It's me and her and Kanye West and the aunt, and we're all taking a picture playing, I think, the game of life. And on the back, it has like all of our names and the date and Kanye West, and it is very clearly Kanye West. I wish I had that picture. I might have it in my files somewhere so I can send it to you, Esper, so we can have that for the show notes. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, Ash, but everyone's done that. When did you hang out with him in a video game?
Exactly.
Def Jam. Oh, yeah, right. Def Jam rap star.
Yep. Shout out.
That absolutely counts.
Yes, it does.
Nice. I'm Brandon Sheffield.
Beat that.
and I can't beat it, but you made me think of one. Yes, I can join it. Talking to David Cage. I talked to him.
Play the sting.
What's our time to Cage this episode?
That's right. Very quick. I talked to him in Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah.
And then I talked to him in his office in Paris.
Yeah.
I make the video game.
Is that what he sounds like? I've never taken the opportunity to listen to David Cage.
There is no misconduct.
Why don't you want to talk to David Cage again? Was he insufferable?
Well, in general, yes.
Nice.
And, I'm afraid that my main concern is that the next time I talk to David Cage, I would have to talk to him about Star Wars, and that feels pretty awful.
I almost went with Iwata, but that's a little dark. I don't want to talk to him again because he's dead.
That would get a Ouija
Then we have
board.
some other things to consider right now.
That would be a whole situation.
We have another fine fellow joining us on the show this week. Joining us is video game statistician and cartographer who specializes in videos about extremely boring concepts expressed in hypnotically interesting ways. Any Austin.
What an introduction. You would think that someone like me would have a good answer for this prompt, but if I put the circle of things I've done in a video game, which is many, well documented, and things I've done in real life together, it is a perfect circle. I am completely satisfied with every river I've followed in real life, with every power line I've followed, with every single unemployment report. I've never had the pleasure, but if I did, I would enjoy it very much. The people who were with me for those endeavors, they would have a different answer. But I've enjoyed every single one of those tasks.
Austin, you strike me as someone who, were you alive 60 years ago, would have been really, really into train spotting.
How old do you think I am?
Not 90.
Not 90.
Wait a second. Train spotting's bigger than it's ever been. First of all, there's that movie.
Yeah.
Which didn't have anything to do with the resurgence. Right. That probably has more to do with Frank's answer than the actual, what do they call them? Not pukers. What are they called? What are train people called? No. There's a word that everyone, foamers. The people make fun of them for looking at trains because
so the word
they foam at the mouth when they see trains, so people call them foamers. You can look that up. It is not a slur. It is a slur, I guess, but not one of the ones you can't say. So you can.
No, that's true.
There's some information for
I'm looking at r/trains. You're not making this up.
Foamers. There you go.
Foamers.
I know. The more you know.
And the idea is that people don't foam at the mouth for anything else, just trains.
Right.
Just trains. Just trains in Ikaruga.
That's right.
I don't think anyone's really interrogated in that way.
Yeah, frothers are the
Ikaruga fans.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm learning so much.
I'm glad we're getting this taxonomy out of the way.
We got all the baristas accounted for.
Yeah. Our first question this week comes from previous guest, David Gilbert. Brian asks, which video game do you wish you could scrub from the memories of everyone in the world except for you?
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Well, that's a good one for me because
for you specifically, yeah.
I can get rich now.
Yeah, you're going to yesterday him.
Yeah.
I was talking about how Grand Theft Auto should go ahead and get delayed. If I could erase Grand Theft Auto 3 and then get the budget to make Grand Theft Auto 3, but I'd make it a little different.
That second part's the tough part, though.
Then I'd be rich.
Your version would like cops.
Yeah, that's right. No.
Well, what's the budget of that game? Probably no. It's like, if you look back on it, it's probably like what? $50,000 or some small, like if you could figure
GTA
that out.
GTA 3 is probably it's probably like 20 million, I would guess.
What was that, 2002?
2001.
3?
Okay,
1?
1. Yeah.
So there's this movie called Hot Tub Time Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the first time you've heard that in years. And the ending of that movie, one of the cast, one of the crew, whatever, stays behind in the past to quote unquote invent Google to get rich.
Mm-hmm.
And that really made me mad because it's like Google isn't an idea, it's a bunch of work.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that same feeling right now. I just want you to know.
Right, where you're like, I'm going to invent Google. It's sort of like the person who was like, I'm going to write all the Beatles, like I'm going to be the new Beatles in that movie where the Beatles was gone.
Yeah.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Is that allowed? Is that part of the format?
Of course you can ask a clarifying question.
In this fantasy that we're having, am I aware that everyone else has forgotten about the game?
I'm going to say yes, because we are setting the genie command right now. that this is going to be the game that everyone forgets, but you remember?
Okay, well, regardless, I'm choosing Seaman for the Dreamcast. It would have been funnier if I didn't know that everyone else had forgotten it, to then try and describe the game that I had played when I was younger of Seaman. But I'm still going with Seaman, because I think redone now, you can make loads of money.
You're trying to play a prank on your future self.
That's exactly correct. I'm trying to make my life more interesting at my own expense.
Nice.
I'm having a hard time because I'm one of those people who, if I found myself in the past, I would freeze up. Like I kind of like my life. I don't want to mess with anything. I'm just, the implications are too much. So it'd be something really innocuous. I'd pick it'd be like the 5th Dizzy game. You know what I mean? Okay, Dizzy takes a stroll. Or whatever.
You're trying not to alter the timeline.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to avoid stepping on butterflies. But for Alston specifically, I'm thinking about the wording of this question does not mean the video game itself is erased. Just that the memory of the game is erased. It could still be out
might
there.
Find
now
it on the
So
bookshelf.
you could be the premier Seaman YouTuber leading everyone to discover this game.
That's probably then again the parameters have changed, and once again the answer remains the same.
Yeah,
it's got to be Seaman.
Got to be Seaman.
Well, that kind of ruins mine because if I can't make it, I don't care if GTA 3 is something that I remember and other people don't.
Well, hang on. Does this also mean that people remember 4 and 5?
Yes,
right.
It's not a series. It's just 3.
You're not going back
in
time, right?
Yeah.
I guess in that sense, the funniest thing to do would be to erase Fortnite and just the memory, because then everyone would turn on their consoles and go, "What the fuck is this? It's on my PlayStation."
It would be like that YouTube album that dropped.
Yeah. Then they would turn it on, and it would explode from the beginning all over again, and we would extend the Fortnite timeline to another 35 years of Fortnite.
Well, the problem is, no one who worked on Fortnite would remember having worked on it, so it would be a nightmare for them to update the game. It would
decay.
Yeah,
they'd be confused about where they worked then in general, I suppose.
Right.
They would have to figure that out first, sort of reorganize the whole company. Who's Tim Sweeney? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
He would have a lot of work to do. But once he did, he's going to make loads of money again.
I think they would know they work at this company and like what their route is and where their desk is and stuff like that. But they would be like, what am I doing? What did I do yesterday?
Yes, right.
They would remember having this big court fight with Apple, but not what it was about.
Disney would immediately sue them. They'd be like, why are your characters in this thing that we have no idea
why are you using Boba Fett in your game?
It might collapse. It might collapse the entire entertainment conglomerate sort of like group all at once, because Fortnite's involved with all of it.
There'd be like 30 lawsuits.
They would just immediately descend on this thing.
You could save the games industry, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I like Fortnite, but you could save the games industry.
One that Ash brought up before, which was a very good idea, which I'm going to steal once again now, is Firefall.
Okay.
So that we then
erase everybody's memory of Firefall.
We erase everyone's memory of
Googling
Firefall, which means that we that Mark Kern / Grums's legitimacy is never he's got no stamp on his resume.
But Firefall was the one that didn't work. That was the one with the bus.
That's the one that everyone forgot.
I know. Well, but people called it up as like he's like a real deal guy though, because it was the biggest thing that he had worked on.
Okay,
nobody remembers
people who
that.
follow him have never actually like played any of his stuff.
No,
they just go, well, here's a guy.
He worked at Blizzard.
Capital T, capital I, the industry.
Yeah.
Therefore, women are terrible.
Right. So if we can make people forget that, then they don't get to feel that he's a real guy, and then maybe he doesn't have any influence on Musk, and
Well, my point is that he can put whatever game name he wants on there, and the people who follow him don't care what that game is. So I don't
that's probably true. That's probably true.
It'll be enough that he's a former World of Warcraft guy. Anyway, we're out of time.
Ridiculous.
Sorry.
That's the show.
This next question is for you. You spend a lot of time talking about video game worlds. What is the platonic ideal in open world games for you?
Well, listen, as long as this is what I think. It's never been achieved, first and foremost, right? No such platonic ideal in anything will ever be achieved. But what we need to do is we need to get rid of maps, mini maps.
Okay.
Any sort of anything. What was the game? The Witcher 3 This is not even a joke anymore. Now I'm just talking. The Witcher 3, isn't it true you could follow those quests just by reading the in-game signs? What's going on? Why has that not happened?
On the roads? Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Some of them.
Well, it should be all of them.
It's funny that he brought that up now, like no mini maps, when like one of the big discourses about Expedition 33 is the fact that there is no mini map and we're all fucking hopelessly ass lost in this French video game because like you don't know where you're going. Game. Yeah. You that game is in sore need of a mini map because you can get turned around real bad.
Okay, people said that about Starfield too, and it's true. But okay, maybe here's the argument. Maybe sorry, I was just talking about Bethesda the other day. So don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
My argument is it's actually better to have to walk in circles a lot and be really bored, and it emulates the way you play games as a kid more, so you have more fun. You don't know that you have to get over it, but then you actually do have more fun in the long run.
I'm too busy for
So basically, anything
fun.
that gets me to waste more of my time is the platonic ideal in an open world game. Yeah. Make me take the train in Grand Theft Auto. Let me get a speeding ticket, a traffic ticket in Grand Theft Auto 6. That's my opinion. Just engage me further with the space. That's the platonic ideal.
You can just turn off the mini-map, Austin.
Right, but here's the problem. This is another funny thing about trying to walk places in Grand Theft Auto, is it doesn't let you. You show up places and they go, where's your car? And you go, I don't have one. I took the taxi. And they go, get a car. So you just then have to steal a car. And there's no street signs. You can't get anywhere. It's a whole nightmare. So you gotta put signs in games. That's my opinion.
More signs.
But also, you wouldn't want a platonic ideal. We never want to actually achieve that. So my opinion is everyone do what they want to do. Have a great time making your games, and we will have a great time with them no matter what.
I do like at least in Assassin's Creed Shadows, the most recent one. They've since patched this out to where the horse will now follow to the direction or whatever. But it used to be when I was playing for review, like if you were on your way to like some kind of quest or whatever, your horse can auto run, but it won't follow. And you get like this little like guide path or whatever that is like a line that you follow. It would not follow the line. So like whenever you were in the overworld, like traveling between big places, you would have to manually guide your horse there. And that was really cool. Just so you could, be intentionally in the space. I like that. They fixed it because I understand that, it takes too much time to try to pathfind and navigate in a big one-for-one recreation of feudal Japan.
They get to look at all those graphs where it's like, when did people stop playing? Mm-hmm. And all they're doing is like trying to bump the thing. It's like when you make a YouTube video and you're like, people are stopping watching. You got to fix it. So, it makes sense that you got here. But the option, but actually able to do the option, because you can do it, like you said, in GTA, but it doesn't end up working. Turns out you can't actually live in that world very well because people get mad at you for not committing Grand Theft Auto for whatever reason.
It sounds like the game you want to play is Yakuza.
Actually, Yakuza and Shenmue, those are the two people keep telling me to play. So maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, you should probably check those out.
I don't think the worlds are big enough.
They are tiny.
I don't know your taste beyond like the 4 videos.
Yeah, the worlds are small, but you can run around and you can learn what all the streets are, and you can landmark based navigate to everywhere.
You can keep going to the same city between games and see how it evolves from game to game.
Yeah, it's true.
That does sound pretty.
Yeah, they use the
good.
same city across like at least 7 games, so you can really see how the city changes over time, which is pretty neat.
I wouldn't mind getting lost if, like that was kind of intentional on the game design's part, right? That you got lost and ran into things, and B, that when I get lost in real life, interesting things happen. Right, that doesn't always happen in video games. When I get lost, when I get
lost in video games, I get frustrated.
Right.
Wait, what interesting things is this coming back to the medium drugs you were talking about earlier? When you get lost in real life.
When I get
also,
lost
is it
in real life,
medium heavy, light medium heavy, or light medium hard? What's the scale? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, it's the middle kick button, whatever that one is.
I got it.
Yeah.
You fucking nerds.
But what I was going to say is I don't want to turn this into an Expedition 33 discourse kind of conversation, but I also get lost in those maps. And I think that a lot of people have not internalized that exploring a 3D virtual space is not the same as exploring a real life virtual space. Like
I can find a bagel shop in a real 3D space,
right?
And I can get a bagel and I can be happy. I can't get a bagel in Expedition 33.
You can't. I mean, at least as far as I've gotten.
I think that's also why the Yakuza games work so well, because it's a lot more like getting lost in a
and
in
you
a
can
real
get a bagel
place.
or wander into a hostess club and then like, take it over and run it.
You can wander around and find a guy playing shogi or whatever.
Time. All right. What's something you've seen in a video game that you've appreciated the developers putting much more work into than was even a little bit necessary?
The town in the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do a really easy answer, and it's the food in Final Fantasy 15. There was no reason for that. Like, they went really hard on how good the food looked in that game. It's something that has been discussed to death. It's something that there are articles about, but it's the first thing that comes to mind because it's, like, I don't know that they really knew what they were doing. I don't know whose weird idea it was.
I think that was the reason, was that they, in the postmortem of the game that we did for Game Developer Magazine back in the day, or was that 13? I forget.
No,
anyway.
I don't think 15. Yeah, 15 is post.
Yeah, it's post. Anyway,
the print medium had died by then.
Anyway, I did hear. I guess I extrapolated from there that it was probably another game where large sections of the team didn't know exactly what they were supposed to be doing at that time, and so they were like, "We're supposed to make food. Let's just make it as good as possible because we have to justify what we're doing right now. So we're just going to make it look really good because this is the only task we've been assigned. So let's just really drill deep into it." That's my suspicion.
They were like underemployed, and then rather than like bumming around, they were like, I mean, this is the thing. They gave us 40 hours a week, and or 70 hours a week, or whatever game developers have for.
Yeah,
this is our whole thing. This is what we're gonna do. I think I don't remember if it was Gargoyle's Quest or Demon's Crest or one of these Super Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghouls and Ghosts
Some
knockoffs.
nest.
But there was a segment in one of them I remember where there's a little like enemy that jumps down from like a roof or something and then tries to get you and then falls in a pit. And I remember if you can climb up past the roof and go all the way up to the top, you can find like an elevator that's lifting the enemies from the pit they had fallen off all the way back up to the top. And then a guy takes them and he puts them in. And it was like this, there's no point to it. But stuff like that where they, Half-Life 1 and probably 2 had a lot of stuff like this too, where like you can follow, which this is maybe disgustingly on brand for me, I guess, but you can follow like the barrels as they go through the river and then they fall in the thing and they go out and, there's no reason to go there. But I love stuff like that. I think that's really fun. And then obviously, rivers and power lines and whatnot.
I guess my answer is the only thing I can think of because there are so many. I love when I can see the fingerprints of the developers in a game, or if you can hear them like talking to you, like over your shoulder, like where something is laid out. And as a gamer who has like a lot of experience playing games, you're expected to do one thing and then you do it and then you get there and it's like, like some kind of dumb shit like that little human touch. Like I love seeing shit like that, but I also like obviously the details of things that people were never meant to see or not see all the time. So the thing that I can think of right now are in Forspoken. One of the power-ups you get is like tied to your nail polish and you get like different power-ups do different things to your nails and like it's your nails. And this is like a third perspective, like, action platformer. You're never seeing this girl's nails, but
she does use her hands a lot. So it's like, I get where they came from thematically. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And the different like nail designs or whatever are actually really cool, even though you only see them in the menu screen. And you can see like little bits of them like, oh, your nail polish has changed colors. And you can kind of like see that on her model in the overworld, but you don't really get the detail of it until you're in the menu. But I just think stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah,
totally. To be relatively on brand for my own self.
On brand, Brandon.
Anytime Sega is like, you know what this game needs is a whole evolution system that nobody will ever touch. So like in Nights into Dreams, where you can enemies that you encircle rather than kill, you can capture and have a whole A-life program. Then you can breed them together and create the king A-life, and like that evolved into like the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure and all those kinds of things where they're just like, what about a bunch of nonsense? in here that only 5 people are going to care about. I love that.
I can only imagine Ash didn't mention codices because to her, they are essential to have in the game.
Yeah, like that's not noticeable.
Not optional.
Yeah, codices are a thing. I am really enjoying the new Doom and its codex. Sorry to put that out there.
Yeah. I was like, codices. What is this? It's an anime or something I've never heard
No.
of. Like codexes. I didn't know that was the plural of that. Yeah. Those are great.
Yeah,
that's one thing
like
that, that, you know, like your Metroid Primes and stuff. I don't know what the first game to come up with that kind of like encyclopedic system was. But that is one of the things that really sucks. I keep bringing up Starfield just because I'm finally playing it. One of the things that really sucks about Starfield is like none of that stuff. It doesn't have anything like that. It does, but it doesn't have any like information in it that is like interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Mass Effect 1 and I think 2, they both have these codices, and they will go through each individual planet and tell you like what the density is of the core and what its atmosphere is made out of and what that planet is used for, if it's used for anything at all. And I would think Starfield, like being the big space opera that it is, would do something similar, and it doesn't. And that's
it
very
does
upsetting.
have some, like with planet stuff, it leans into this, what I call periodic table core kind of aesthetic. But when it comes to like your plants and animals and stuff, it's like there's 4 categories of plants and 4 categories of animals.
I
or
mean,
whatever.
speaking of that, I think the origin for this obsession, particularly with a certain generation of video game players, is the Pokemon games, where every Pokemon would give you like 2 sentences in a codex.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, was that the first?
Where it's like, hey, did you know that if the fire on a Charmander's tail goes out, it dies?
I gotta assume the first was some sort of computer RPG. Like the first,
I was gonna say, like
true.
Computer
Ultima or
RPGs
something.
came from like the kind of insufferable nerds that were playing like pen and paper stuff. So absolutely.
And they also evolved from text games, and so they were heavy into like text was easy and cheap. So
I'm not talking about the first game to do it. I'm talking about the first game that like made it a thing that had to be in every game.
Yeah, like combined it with collecting in some way, in the way that like a Metroid Prime then goes on to do it.
Next topic. You know how like for the past 10 years, every second manga and anime has been about dying and being reincarnated in like the Dragon Quest world or an MMO world? Yeah, yes. Isekais. If that happened to you and you were just in a generic fantasy video game, what would your job be?
I don't know. Walking around. Well, I don't know. If you can, I've never watched these animes. Can you die in them?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you die in them, you do die in real life.
Yeah, you
die in the game, you die for real.
But usually when you're put in there, you're reborn in this world with some special power or in some weird way. So like you're a slime or you're magically the best wizard, even though you have the weakest power. That's very common.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're just like all the ladies think you're hot. And if you're a dude, sometimes if you're a lady, you're reborn as like the villainess or a princess or something, and then you can subvert the paradigm. They really been going deep with them. So there's all kinds of things, but you can die in most of them.
And is this solipsistic? Are you alone?
Yeah, you're alone.
You're alone, but then you make a bunch of friends because everybody loves you.
Mm-hmm. But they're computer friends. They're robots.
Sort of, but it's like, is it real life or is it not? It's real life to them. So
I'd probably start gathering data of some kind. Just start helping out, giving people a sense of what's going on.
Work in the library.
How many of this or that? Work in the library, giving people a sense of firm footing in
Somebody's
this confusing
gotta make the
world.
maps.
I'm going to invent science, is what I'm saying. I'm going to bring the scientific method into the video game.
Is this Eastern European fantasy? Like what genre of fantasy are we going with? Because that greatly impacts my answer.
That's a good question, Ash, and I'm going to say the sort of Japanese version of European fantasy.
Yeah, Japanese high European fantasy.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get burned as a witch, probably. Jesus.
Well, I know my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the person in town who stands in their house and waits for the hero to come in.
Okay.
To give them a letter to give to my son in another town.
Nice. Oh, that's very good.
By the way, don't touch my stuff.
I'm part 1 of that.
Don't touch my treasure chest,
quest.
please.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a side quest or main quest?
You are going to have to get a son, though. So that might be a problem.
No, the sun is probably
The sun's there.
is written in.
You get incarnated into this world having a son already?
Yeah, I have.
You're just like suddenly a guy's dad?
Well, you're suddenly a wizard.
Yes,
Surely
yeah.
dad
Good
is
point.
acceptable.
in some of these
What's
you
more realistic here? Come on.
Right.
you get incarnated into an existing person. That happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is true. You do get incarnated into an existing person sometimes.
What I haven't seen very much in these is something where the person dies, gets reincarnated in the new world, gains powers, and then doesn't want to use them or involve themselves in the big main quest.
You
thing.
mean you haven't seen a story where nothing happens?
That's right. But I was thinking, like, what would it look like to have one of these stories where, you know, you're theoretically the greatest mage, but you're like, I want to
I
run
can't
a
be
bakery.
Isn't that Frieren or whatever that one's called?
Frieren?
Isn't that-
Well, that's not an isekai, first of all. But no, she's a powerful elf who's lived a long time, and she loves collecting weird spells. But she does get involved in the affairs of humanity.
Okay.
Well, isn't it usually like you get reincarnated and they're like, World War II's happening, here's a gun. Not literally, that's a metaphor, obviously, but like there is usually some kind of conflict occurring.
Yeah, but
that
usually
if you eschewed your response or eschewed, if you
Eschewed, you're right.
neglected your responsibilities, you would be some sort of horrible monster.
yeah.
I
Well, if
imagine.
the issue fits, wear it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not very good. I apologize.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back.
I wanted to add an important thing to mine. I just
No,
realized.
please do. You have time.
Okay. Which is that so I'm in that house and I'm waiting for the hero to give him a letter. I just want to add that my sprite's wearing an apron. I think that's important.
That's
for the
important.
visual.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything on the apron?
It's just a white apron.
Just a white apron. All
like
right.
it's the same sprite used for like the baker, but it's just a
Yes.
guy in a house.
What do you say when the hero talks to you a second time? And you're like, sure wish my son had that letter.
Well, I mean, it depends on the letter flag. You know, has the letter been delivered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get it both. Let's get both in the studio right now.
I'm
Rich
pretty
inner
sure,
life.
like, yeah, I ask them about the status of the delivery, and if they have delivered, I thank them. Well, the first time I thank them and I give them an item, not a good one. Like,
Yeah.
I give them like a piece of armor that wasn't good even like 4 hours ago.
Like a high potion, but not a great potion. The
Right,
medium
exactly.
potion.
Yeah.
What about when several hours later, having tried to deliver the letter, finding out that your son is dead, the hero comes back to the town and now has to talk to you again? What happens?
Well,
then?
that wasn't part of the script, so I don't really have I'll probably thank them anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You,
Even though my
you only
son's
have the
dead.
one
Yeah.
interaction.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
Understood.
What do you think this is? Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
Let's go to a break.
Good idea. I have a little Google alert for myself, which doesn't ping very often because I'm not out there as much as I used to be. But you know how when you get a Google alert, it sometimes it also picks up like the next story from that publication.
I appreciate the defense. You should take credit for this.
Take credit for the reason that women have fewer orgasms than men.
Men. Yeah.
I don't know.
Take credit for figuring it out, maybe.
Oh, for figuring it out. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish that it cut out at believes that, and that's it.
Yeah.
Brendan Sheffield believes that.
Yeah, that would be very funny.
Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time to go to the question hole. This is the point in every podcast that we do where I go to the list of questions submitted to us at patreon.com/insertcredit, where you listening right now could send your own questions. Just cast them deep in that hole and I will retrieve them dutifully and eagerly. All you got to do is give us a few bucks a month. You get to do that. You get monthly bonus episodes and other interesting surprises that you can share and trade with your friends.
How many bucks a month is it?
Just like $3, $5.
It's $3, but it's going to go up to
That's
5
nothing.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
5 is nothing. In
I
this
know.
economy, 5's nothing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's never been a better value.
It's a steal.
This week's question comes from Psinux, who asks, how does a Sega kid become a Sega man?
Whoa. I
Yeah.
can't answer this. This is dangerous
It's when
territory.
you grow up and you realize that Sonic and Knuckles is not the best Sonic game there is. And that distinction belongs to Sonic Triple Trouble on the Game Gear. That's how you become a Sonic man.
Well, depending
Okay.
on a lot
Sega Man.
of
Sega man.
What?
But depending on a lot of factors, you may need to take testosterone because
Right. Yeah.
if you're not born to it, it's hard to be a Sega man. But
you can also alternatively play the 2009 video game The Conduit, published by Sega. We'll give you that same thing as taking a bunch of testosterone.
That's true.
Yeah.
No Conduit fans in the chat?
That's right.
That's science.
High voltage software.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Shout out Eric Knopfsinger.
Eric Knopfsinger, who used to recognize me and then at some point stopped.
Oh, that's really funny.
used to see him around at trade shows and he'd be like, "How you doing?
Well, what's up?"
And then at a certain point, just like blank.
So
I don't know what
you've looked exactly the same for 20 years, and also I've never met anyone who looks like you. So that's
on
pretty
him.
bizarre.
It's an Eric problem, I think.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there.
Or you've transcended from Sega man onto a third thing.
Oh yeah. Sega Elder. So to become a Sega man, I think you have to accept that Sega was never gonna win. They weren't gonna win the console wars. It wasn't gonna happen. They didn't have that kind of fire, but that's okay because what they did along the way was very beautiful and meaningful, and it meant a lot to a lot of people. And so like letting go of having to be the best and embracing the journey and the path makes you become a Sega man.
That felt like a stretch, but also there's a lot of truth there. So yeah. I kind of feel like as someone who was a Sega kid, we were basically the adults in comparison to those idiots with the Super Nintendo.
We had sunglasses on while the others had little
them
suspenders
too.
they were snapping.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the question is, when will the Nintendo boys finally grow into Nintendo men?
I don't think there's such a thing, man.
Beyond my pay grade. I can't. Yeah.
It's impossible to say.
Yeah. We're still waiting. Blasted.
Yeah, there's never been a game man.
Alternate
That's
answer is you put in the blood code on Mortal Kombat and just immediately graduate. Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the Game Boy and you look at the Game Gear. The Gear, it's about work.
Game Gear, it's already there. Testosterone. There you go.
Yeah.
True.
It's about doing work. It's about working with your hands. It's about getting deep into the gears of video games and of consoles and of everything. So that's,
and then in your third stage of life, you become a nomad.
A nomad, yeah.
That's right.
I was just gonna. There you go. That was my first handheld console. Was a Genesis Nomad.
Yeah, and then you have a child and name them Pico.
There you go.
And you start the journey of Sega.
The circle of life.
All over again.
Yeah. Like the rings of Saturn.
Yes.
Here's my next question. What's the best mountain in a video game?
Ooh, what? This is a good question.
Thanks.
I also want to know what the tallest mountain in a video game is, but I guess then you have to figure out scale.
That's something you're going to have to figure out.
Right
on the
after this
list.
show.
That's a question for you.
Yeah, you could use a cold open from this episode for
I might.
next video.
I was thinking the other day, what's the tallest video game? And I was like, well, like No Man's Sky.
Didn't we have this same, like the tallest character? And
yeah,
didn't we say it was the king of all
yeah,
cosmos?
We did talk about who's the tallest character. In the video game.
I could see that.
Tallest
best mountain.
Best
Best mountain's very different than
Best
tallest.
mountain.
Yeah, best mountain. Yeah.
God. To me, the best mountain would probably have a really cool cave in it. I'm just throwing that out there. So that I can enjoy the top of it and the inside of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And there should be mine carts.
Yeah, it could be mine carts. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, if we spitball, right? You go Throw to the World. Skyrim is like the one that comes to mind for me first, obviously. What other video game mountains can we even name? That have a name that
Mount
could be named?
Gold. That's
Where's that
like
from?
Final Fantasy IX, I want to
Oh,
say.
okay. Dragon Roost Island, Wind Waker, pretty good.
Mount Fuji's in a lot of games, but I don't know if it's the best one.
No, I will not allow Mount Fuji to be the best.
Mount Everest from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020.
That's what I was going to
Pretty
say.
strong,
Like,
right?
they probably have like a 1-for-1 recreation of Mount Everest in Flight Simulator or something like that.
There's the mountain you crash on in D2.
There's a really distinct mountain in Blueprints that's like in some of the lore text and stuff that's probably important, but I'm not going to play enough of the post game to find out.
Death Mountain? We haven't brought up Death
Oh,
Mountain.
right.
That's an iconic one. Changes a lot from game to game.
Which
the
Death
first
Mountain's the
mountain I
best?
probably loved in a video game was Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Probably Ocarina of Time is probably the one
Yeah.
that is the
I
best.
like the look of that one, yeah.
Yeah.
With the
And
ring
I guess
around it.
technically Dragon Roost Island is that same mountain, right?
It is.
So
in the lore, I will say at this point there is a canonical correct answer to this question. None of you have guessed it yet. You are allowed to ask me questions about it.
20 questions. Mountain. Best video game mountain. Is it brown?
Is it brown? In parts, I suppose.
Is it mostly brown?
Is it white tipped with snow at the top?
It is white tipped, yes.
Would you call it photorealistic?
No.
Is this a 3-dimensional mountain?
No.
Sounds like Mount Fuji.
Is it that mountain in Mount Nebel?
No, it is not Mount Nebel.
What's that?
The one from Final Fantasy VII. Where all the shit goes down with Sephiroth, like in the past.
That's a great location, but it's not the best mountain in a video game.
Okay.
Is this mountain Go ahead.
Was this mountain made in Japan or in the United States or in Europe?
Great question. No, it was not.
None of those three?
So
it was not made in Japan, no.
Okay.
So it's an American mountain or a Western
Could be a European mountain. Is it an American-made mountain?
It is not American-made.
Is the mountain based off a real-life mountain of Earth?
That is a very good question. Yes, it is.
All right. List of mountains. Siri. Mount Everest, Mount Fuji, Mount Kilimanjaro.
No.
Space Mountain.
Right.
No.
Nice.
Denali.
I'm going to say this path of inquiry will probably not get you where you need to go.
Mount Tamalpais, the closest mountain to my high school.
Wild guess, incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Also from Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this mountain would also be,
Give us something to give us in the right trajectory.
I will give it to you. It's from a game that came out in the past 10 years.
Oh. I was alive then.
So it's not Skyrim.
It's based on a real life mountain. You didn't say it was a real life mountain. Am I understanding the answer correctly?
It's in that gray area.
And it's not a Japanese-made mountain.
No.
So I'm stumped.
It's 2-dimensional.
2-dimensional.
It's not photorealistic.
Celeste. What's
it's
that?
Mount Celeste.
There you
That's
go.
correct.
Right. Yeah, that's a good answer.
That's the best mountain in a video game.
Strong answer. Okay.
Yeah.
What mountain in real life is that based off of?
There's a Celeste mountain in real life.
Is that in the Canada?
Yeah.
It's in Vancouver Island. That's correct.
American.
The Canada.
Mm-hmm. It's the Canada. That's why it's not American made. It's North American made, but that's not
Is the experience of climbing it in real life similar?
Probably not.
All right.
I would imagine not. But
are there any good appearances of the king of all mountains, Mount Rushmore, in a video game?
I literally don't even think of that as a mountain because of the faces.
That fella's in the background of the Terry stage in Fatal Fury.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's it then.
I think it might be in Sam and Max Hit the Road, but I can't remember.
I believe it. That's a what do you call it? It's a condensation of America, that mountain right there with its it was a sacred mountain to native peoples that we just chiseled our own president's faces into to be like,
this is exactly the kind of question that I go to the Giant Bomb wiki for. There is a list there of games that Mount Rushmore appears in.
Oh, let's have it.
That's funny.
I've just put in the chat. We've got Street Fighter 1987. That's got Mount Rushmore.
Oh, it does.
Whizball.
That's right.
We got Superman, the 1988 Taito game. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles World Tour Electric Crayon Deluxe. Strike Aces. Carmen Sandiego Junior Detective Edition. Cruisin' USA.
Or Civ 4, rather.
Yeah. Civ 4, The Crew, Neo Geo Selection Volume 2, and Fightin' Spirit.
So mostly background in fighting games.
Exactly.
Yeah,
all right.
A lot of that.
I think we've done some great work here. The best mountain in video games. Last question before we go on to our lightning round. What is the BBC's Planet Earth of video games?
The making of is it karate?
Okay, do you want to say it correctly or the way that the creator says his own game?
Okay. Correctly.
All right.
Correctly is karateka.
Karateka. Okay,
but
so how
he
does
says karateka.
Okay.
Right.
I think I say karateka too. But karateka.
You're on Team Mechner.
But karateka sounds like erotica.
Yeah. It's Balatro.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong too.
I know.
Wait, we're saying that karateka.
No, the making of karateka, which is the name of
Oh,
the
that's
game.
the Planet Earth. Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
I was very confused for a moment. Well, I was going to say Endless Ocean for the Wii, but I think I misunderstood the question.
No, I think you're on the right track.
What is what video game is Planet Earth?
Yeah. The BBC's Planet Earth, the video game.
What vibes, just like looking at jellyfish and
Journey.
stuff, right? Journey would be a good one. Flower,
Yeah.
any of those things.
Everything?
I'm always looking
I was
out
going to say
there
everything.
at video games.
Microsoft's Flight Sim.
In the real
There you
world.
go.
And it's really hard to find Endless Ocean for Wii. You always find Endless Ocean Blue World or whatever, the second one, but you never find the first one. Very strange.
It's expensive.
Strange.
It's like, last time I checked, it was like $90.
Oh, it went
to
up
buy
there?
the,
I guess that would explain why I don't see it anymore.
I was very much
Yeah, I know.
anticipating some Brandon Sheffield wordplay pun over there, but no, it was
No,
a
I didn't do
genuine
it.
thing about, you can't
We're
find
just
this
actually
game.
talking about Endless Ocean for the Wii. Is that it's not a problem, is it? I hope.
I thought you were about to say something like, every time I've looked at the ocean, there's an end to it. It's the beach.
Yeah.
That's my Brandon Sheffield impression.
On the original Nintendo, there was a Christian game publisher called Wisdom Tree. They made some Bible games. They made a game. It was like a Mario 2 clone where you platform and pick stuff up, and it was based on the tale of Noah's Ark.
Mhm.
And you got to pick up like 2 pigs and throw them in your boat. That's the Planet Earth of video.
Probably the most gamifiable tractate of the Bible.
Yeah.
The Noah story.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so help me out here, Frank
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Brandon, or anybody. Is ActRaiser, that has nothing to do with the Bible, does it? Right? Or no?
It totally kind of feels like it does, though. That's really funny and extremely fair.
It has a character called God.
Right. And it's got like a little angel, and the
Yeah.
music sounds kind of Bible-y. Not that the Bible has music, but
I always thought ActRaiser was like a Christian Bible game.
right.
No.
I don't know why I thought that. I've never played this game. I don't know. There's something about the name that makes me think it's, like the Book of Acts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where it came from.
No, I think
But-
that's extremely reasonable.
Yeah. It probably has some like Yuzo Koshiro heard a Bible story aspect to it where he just was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Like that could be in there, but it's not explicitly.
Is there like a really good Christian video game?
No. I mean, there's
We
there's
haven't
some
done
that,
the Prince of Egypt video game. Unless there is one, then no.
It's a great
Is there?
film.
Did you say Prince of
Classic. I
Egypt?
don't know.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's one based on the Disney movie.
If there's, then that counts. That would count. Because that's
okay.
like the only palatable.
I think
like,
there is.
Christian.
I think there's a PS1 game. Let me make
that
sure I'm not
really
making that up.
sounds like it should be. Hang on.
You're thinking of Prince of Persia, I'm pretty sure.
No.
We're thinking of the movie that I always thought was Emperor's New Groove, but was actually the serious version of Emperor's New Groove, Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah,
There
there's
isn't one.
There isn't. There's a Moses Prince of Egypt PlayStation Value series from Midas Entertainment.
So there's
which-
man.
there's no
It's not-
DreamWorks licensed video game of the Prince of Egypt.
that
Probably
seems like a
not.
real oversight. How
Um,
to say?
That
No.
is a huge oversight. Like you want to make some money.
I don't know if I have ever mentioned this on the show. Maybe I have. We've done almost 400 episodes of this. But my favorite 2 days in Hebrew school were when the rabbi put on Prince of Egypt. And we watched it in 2 parts. And our job was to take notes and find every difference between the movie and the actual biblical story. And that was the most fun I had
Wow.
ever had in my entire religious
I thought
education.
the rabbi was going to be there being like, I could have done that.
I could split the Red Sea.
Yeah, if
Real
I was
hard.
there. I could have done it in 7 plagues flat.
We need to pause on Moses Prince of Egypt for a second here, because this is, Brandon, this is one of those games where they took one of those Russian, like Disney knockoff movies and made like sliding tile puzzles and stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Look it up on YouTube. I might be misremembering, but I don't think I am. I believe this is the same exact cartoon animation studio that did the Zelda CDI games.
Oh, excuse
It
me.
definitely looks like it.
And if you look at the footage of Moses Prince of Egypt on PS1,
Yeah.
it's that. It's pretty good.
Squadala.
Squadala.
How many credits does it cost to make everyone play a game?
4 credits.
4.
You have the juice. You can do it. You can afford it.
I'd have to do tech support and give everyone ISOs and tell them how emulators work. I don't
Yeah.
want to do
So Esper is obviously going to put squad
Squadala.
Oh, yeah. All over.
in the actual show. And I'm really glad that she can't like do that right now in my ear, because it would be one of those things that would make me freak the fuck out. And I can't do that right now. I don't have the energy. Please don't make me do
Well,
that.
then I think it's time for us to go on to our
Sorry.
lightning round.
Favorite Christian video games? Go.
Yeah. I have prepared a game we haven't played in a while, but I have a lot of fun with it. It's called The Price is Sprite. I am going to name an item from a video game, and you have to tell me how much you think it costs in that game's currency.
Okay.
Price is Right rules. It's closest without going over.
You'll tell us what the currency.
Yes, I will tell you what the currency is.
And
Okay,
the game, hopefully.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I
the
will
game,
tell.
yes.
Yes, I will tell you the game and the currency.
Right.
$5.
Frank, you'll go first for this first one. How much does a Nuka-Cola cost in Fallout 3? The currency is caps.
Yeah, 20 caps.
A Nuka-Cola? That seems
Ash?
too much.
Who's next?
Like 5.
Brandon,
10.
Austin,
I'm going to go with 21, Bob.
a valid strategy, but Frank is exactly correct. It's 20
Oh my
caps.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. You can't beat that. Next, Ash, you go first for this one. How much does a Great Ball cost in Pokemon Red and Blue? The currency is Pokédollars.
A great ball?
great ball.
Yeah.
Can I ask what
Ugh.
which one that is? There's like
the
three
great
balls.
The Great Ball is the second worst ball.
Yes, second from the bottom.
Yeah.
How
Second
many
from the
balls
bottom.
are there?
There's
Like a million.
Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and,
Okay.
And then a
those
bunch
are the
of
three you can
specific
get.
ones.
The
Got it.
specific ones are later, though. It's
Okay.
the second of the
Jesus.
three.
20? I don't, no, not 20. Great ball. I'm going to say 20. Yeah, I'm going
I
to
don't
stick
remember
with
how
it.
much money you get.
Brandon, your guess?
Shoot, I'm gonna.
No, I take it back. It's 100.
Okay.
I don't think you can-
All right.
Mm.
I don't
I
think you
thi-
can do that. We passed to Brandon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 50.
50. Austin.
I'm going to go with 700.
Okay. Frank.
I think it's a multiple of 4. I'm gonna go with 40.
40. Brandon, you're closest without going over. It's 600 Pokédollars.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh.
Yeah.
that's a lot of Pokédollars. I just totally couldn't remember the units of measurement there.
Yeah,
It's kind of like yen, I
Currency.
think is the way it works.
exactly. It's kind of like yen.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Brandon, this next one we start with you. How much does a moon pearl cost in Bayonetta? The currency is halos.
I have zero
Okay.
idea because I played Bayonetta like half of one time, and I don't know what a moon pearl is. So,
You use it to level up your magic bar.
okay, maybe I will. Then I'm gonna say it costs 200 Bayonetta bucks.
200 halos. Austin,
Knowing Platinum Games, I'm going to go with 16,000.
16,000 halos. Frank,
I like where you're going with that. I think you went over. I'm gonna go 8,000.
8,000 halos. Ash,
Yeah, knowing what I know of Bayonetta, I was going to say 10,000.
10,000 halos. Austin, you are the closest. It's 30,000 halos.
Damn.
Yeah, wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a Christian game? Does that count? That's mine.
Good question.
There's angels in it.
It's got angels, but you're like killing them. So I don't know if Christians would approve.
Right. It's not a good Christian game.
All right, Austin, I'm going to start with you. How much does a house cost in Animal Crossing?
Oh, I should know this.
The unit is
I'm going
bells,
to go
right?
with
The unit is bells.
unit is bells. I'm going to go the first house, I assume, not any of the upgrades.
the
We're
first
just
house,
basic.
same cost in the first 5 Animal Crossing games.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
No inflation in Animal Crossing. I guess it's kind of a single economy. I'm going to go with 1,000.
1,000 bells. Frank, how much does an Animal Crossing house cost?
400 bells.
400 bells. Ash,
10,000. No, 50,000 bells.
50,000 bells. Brandon,
10,000 bells.
Brandon,
You know this.
You win.
No, I don't
It's
know.
19,800 bells.
Nice. Yeah, I was only laughing because I took your 10.
Exactly.
Ash, that's
Ash, you
all.
should have stuck with 10.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Frank. Frank, how much does the Mask of the Child cost in Dark Souls? The currency is souls.
I thought this was the Majora's Mask.
That's what I thought too.
They cost souls.
They cost souls. Souls are the currency in Dark Souls.
Okay, not played this game. Do you earn currency like 1 soul per kill?
No, you can earn
Okay.
multiple souls per kill.
Okay. And what's the name of the item?
The Mask of the Child.
All right, just wild guess. 250 soul.
Okay.
No, it's more than that.
Ash,
Okay.
I don't know how
dang,
much more.
I feel like an idiot now.
Sorry. Shit, I don't know. 10,000 souls.
10,000 souls. Brandon,
It's a child. How much could it cost? 500 souls.
500 souls. Austin, how many souls is this mask?
Remind me of Frank's answer.
Frank said 250.
I'm going to go with $1 soul.
$1 soul,
Bob.
Brandon, you're the closest without going over. It's 8,000 souls.
Damn it.
Nice.
Damn it.
Nice.
Yeah. Brandon's really good at video game economy, it turns out.
Especially the ones that I don't know anything about.
Yeah. Ash, you're first for this next one. How much does the Killer 7 cost in Resident Evil 4? The currency is pesetas.
Isn't that a game?
Yeah.
Are you buying
Killer
a
7
game
is a
in
game as
another
well.
game?
There is a
It's
weapon
a
in
weapon
Resident Evil
called-
4 called the Killer 7.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those games were bros. They came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about the Capcom 4, like 4 games they were going to make for the GameCube, but then they only did 3.
I don't know. Pesetas? I don't know. 500.
500 pesetas. Brandon?
I'm going to say 2,000.
2,000. Austin?
I think that's low.
I'm going to go with 40,000.
Yeah.
40,000. Frank?
20,000.
20,000. Austin is closest. It's 77,700
Oh my God.
Yeah,
pesetas.
I realized I had
You get a lot of money in that game.
Oh, right, it's
Yeah.
7.
It's not pesos. We're talking pesetas, little teeny tiny ones.
Pesetas.
I realized after I said my number that I was really way off scale-wise there.
Yeah.
What can you do? Pesetas are tiny pesos, so
Yeah, that's the difference. It's shrunk.
yeah, they're just really
Okay.
small.
Next is a rocket launcher in Grand Theft Auto 3. Who went first?
Dollars.
Yeah, dollars is the currency.
Who did
No.
go first
Oh,
last
God
time?
damn it.
In Grand Theft Auto 3?
Yes,
I don't
in
know
Grand
who
Theft
went
Auto
first.
3.
They made a 3?
Yeah.
I
I
See,
think
as a circle back. Come
no,
on.
Yeah, he
no,
forgot about it. He
Brandon,
memorized it.
Brandon, it's you.
Yeah,
Brandon,
because
it's you.
I'm the only one that remembers it.
How much did GTA 3 cost? How much did rocket launchers cost in GTA 3?
God, I have no idea. No idea. I don't even know how much money you get in that game. I remember dollars just flying everywhere. $1,000.
1,000. Austin?
2,000?
2,000. Frank?
4,000?
4,000. Ash?
$1.
$1. Frank is closest.
God damn it.
A rocket launcher is $9,000.
I was going to say 10,000 and I would have been over. So.
You shoulda.
No,
Ash, you
I
got a
would've
big
been
old.
over.
You should have lost in a
Should have been
different
over.
way.
You should have
Yeah,
lost.
Ash, you are currently at 0.
Yes, I'm bad at this. I don't know how much shit costs.
We've got one left. Austin, how much does the sea monkey cost at Stan's previously owned vessels in Monkey Island without haggling?
Oh, God.
You're going to have to tell me the currency.
The currency is pieces of 8.
Well, this is a question for Frank, obviously.
I don't know.
Well, I'm without haggling. You got to imagine it's a lot. So I'm going to go with 21.
21 pieces of 8. Frank?
I'm going to
All
hope
the pressure. All
this
pressure.
is... Well, with the Fallout thing, I had a Jeopardy moment where, like, somewhere in the back of my head, the number came out, 20. So that just happened here at 80,000.
80,000. All right. Ash?
I materially object to the question. I don't know. It's a what? It's a
How much
Pieces of
does how many pieces of 8 does it cost to buy your ship back without haggling?
arbitrary currency.
I thought you said a sea
Oh.
monkey.
The
Yeah,
sea
the
monkey's the name
vessel
of the
is
ship.
called the sea monkey.
Well, I was thinking one of those little mail order bugs.
Well, if you had
You know, so
played
was I.
Monkey Island, you would know better.
I played it, but I was 12, which is not,
I don't it's got to be something ridiculous like 50,000.
50,000. Brandon?
What did you say, Frank?
Frank said
80,000.
80,000.
80,000? I'm going to say 80,008 because it's got to be, you got to
Yeah.
make your pieces in multiples.
Yeah.
So it can't be 80,001.
I now believe it's 4 figures and not 5. For what
Yeah,
it's worth.
I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
in fact 5,000. So
Oh,
Austin
yeah.
gets
Wow.
that point.
There
Which
you go.
means
21.
Austin and Brandon tie. So it's time for the tiebreaker.
Shoot.
Let's do it.
How much does the duplicator cost in Castlevania Symphony of the Night? This is an item you can only buy once you've 100% cleared the game. Brandon and
What does it
Austin,
do?
you're the only ones who can play. What
And
it
it's-
does
and
like
is
write them down.
And it's dollars,
basically-
right?
Yeah, it's dollars, and it basically gives you infinite items.
Yeah.
But you can only buy it after you've 100% of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is functionally useless for any
Right.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate when games. do that.
Who's answering first? Should we
Who's
write them
answering
down?
first? No, you know what? I like that. Both of you write down your answers in advance, and then reveal it to me when I say go.
All right.
God, I don't know where my pen is. God darn.
I'm watching Moses, Prince of Egypt on mute and having a pretty good time.
You do have enough
I'm
credits to make us
upset.
play it.
Because we're the new pope is from Chicago, and so now we're trying to figure out what baseball team he's a fan of. And I keep getting conflicting reports if he's a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan. And there is a correct answer to this. And if it's the wrong one, they're going to have to go back into the conclave and pick a fucking another one because I can't deal.
The correct answer is the Cubs, right?
The correct answer is the Cubs. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
The small bears.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm ready also.
Okay.
Brandon Sheffield.
What is your problem?
Yeah.
So many things. I have been a native Chicagoan for all of my life. I have never put that together.
Really? You never put that together? That the Bears and the Cubs are related?
No. I'm happy to help.
That is insane to me.
I'm sorry. I never put that together.
Okay. All right. This is wild. Damn. Wow. What revelations we've had on this episode.
Yes.
We've learned how to pronounce words. We've learned how words are related to other words. And now I want you to reveal your answers. Brandon, what did you write down?
20,000.
20,000. Austin, what did you write down? 0.
Oh, nice.
A bold answer.
Nice.
A duplicator in Castlevania Symphony of the Night costs $500,000. Brandon, you are our winner. Congratulations.
There you
That's
go.
a lot. Wow, that's so much because I think the biggest. I guess you can get like a $5,000 bag, can't you? So maybe I was thinking the biggest you could get was 1,000, but I think it's 5,000. So that okay. Well, anyway, I still won, so good for me.
Yes, you still won. Congratulations. To remind you, your scores at the end of this episode. Brandon, you have 5 credits. Ash, you have 8 credits. Frank, you have 5 credits. Would any of you like to spend your credits at this time? Or are you still holding on to them?
I'm going to hold on to him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm going to deploy him. I'm going to deploy him.
At some point.
I'll make people play a game at some point when I have a little more time. I'll think about it for over the next couple weeks here.
Is that like the ultimate one? That's like make people play the Conduit from 2009, for example?
The ultimate one is that you can host the show.
And just make that show whatever you want it to be.
How many credits is that?
That's 8 credits.
It's 8. It's not that much. Everybody's hoarding. I've been spending mine.
I've spent mine too.
Ash spent
hers. Esper thinks we got to implement credit rot. I disagree.
Oh,
but we'll see how this goes. This is the part of the show where if you want to recommend or plug something, now is the time to do so, or forever hold your peace.
Okay, I'll do some things. There's been a lot of people talking about the male loneliness epidemic, which I think is I was dismissing it at first, but I do see a lot of emotionally stunted dudes, and so I think ultimately that's kind of where it's coming from. But I also think that a lot of people don't realize that they're experiencing it. I guess that they don't have buddies in that way that they can talk to about difficult things or emotional situations, and we aren't really raised to be emotional creatures necessarily as men. So
patriarchy is poison, and it will kill us all.
All of us. Yeah. So I think if you're looking for I don't think it's the solution, but if you're looking for a journey toward a step on the journey toward that, I do recommend joining forums. Find a forum that you might enjoy. Why not
forums.insertcredit.com? Great community there.
One where people have you have a similar interest at least, and possibly two. Like in the case of our forums, it's you like weird video games and you're generally left wing.
I think the most important factor of our forum that I think more people need to know about if they haven't checked it out, we have a moderation team that will crack down on you if you're a creep. So don't be afraid of creeps being around. We don't tolerate them.
Yeah, they go away. They go bye-bye. It doesn't need to be the insert credit forums, but I think forums are nice because they're a slower, more measured place where you can have slower paced, deeper conversations with people. You don't have to be catching up on everything like in a Discord. And I have witnessed many people feel that they found a community for the first time by joining. And also with forums, you get to like recognize people's names and be like, this person tends to say things that I like. And then you can sort of strike up an internet friendship with them. And then people go on to like do meetups in their city or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Which we should also do somehow.
We should also do that. It's true.
We should have an insert credit meetup at some point.
Yeah.
I had a little insert credit meetup with Ash Parrish this week. We had ourselves a fun little time at an Irish bar.
I had great fish and chips.
Yeah, you did.
And then I got stuck in New York, and it was really bad.
So yeah, that's my recommendation for this week is try to find a place so that you don't feel like you're by yourself, because ultimately you're not really. There's other people who are in that same situation and want to have bros that they can talk to about whatever. The end.
Frank, you got anything?
Yeah. So, I mean, we joke about this a lot on this show, but in all seriousness, if you have a kid that doesn't understand the teachings of Christ and you have a Sega Genesis, there's
Please
a game
send them your letter for the other town.
There's a game called Spiritual Warfare. I think is going to get them on the right track. It plays kind of like a Zelda, right? So it's like tile-based, overhead, screen-by-screen map, open world. So Austin, I know this is your jam.
Christ, open worlds.
Right, Christ and open worlds. And
open
where
arms,
does the
open
soul
worlds.
go
That's what I
once
say
it
about
leaves
Christ.
the body,
Exactly, right.
And so instead of killing monsters with a sword, you actually convert like bike gangs to be Christian. And the way that you do that is you throw fruit at them. And if the fruit hits them, instead of dying, they look shocked for like one frame of animation. And then they become a sprite that looks exactly like you, but they pray.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. And
is there a biblical metaphor there that I'm missing with the fruit?
With the fruit of
so like a story about someone giving people, like, did Jesus give people fruit and then they
the snake did though, right? So they gain the
if anything,
they gain the forbidden knowledge.
Isn't this literally a joke game from The Simpsons, where that's the one game Rod and Todd have, and they say, "Oh, you just winged him and made him a Unitarian."
Spiritual warfare is no joke.
Okay.
Have you all heard of this movie?
This movie, what's called Predator?
This movie, what's called Predator? Absolute Dominion is the name of a movie that is coming out, and it's about it's in a dystopian future, and all of the faiths have to put forth their best warrior to decide what's the religion that everyone's going to follow.
I'm into it already.
And the one, a religion that nobody's heard of, that's science based, has put forth the ultimate warrior, and everyone's like, "Oh no, he's gonna kill God," or something. It looks very, very, very silly. But it made me think of that. At the end.
Ash,
I'm not recommending it. It's just a movie.
I guess in keeping with theme, go watch
Christian
the Righteous.
themes.
Which theme? Yeah.
Go watch the Righteous Gemstones, which is first of all really fucking funny. If you've ever had any kind of experience with that kind of like Pentecostal, like mega church thing that family does, like it will stab you in the heart, because I do. I spent a good deal of my late teens in one of those churches. And it's always really funny trying to explain to people that are watching the Righteous Gemstones, and they see like all the crazy antics that they do for their service, and they're thinking like, "Oh, this is just played up for laughs." I'm like, "Nope, that is shit that really fucking happens. I have stories." So it's really funny. I think I'm not as happy with it in these later seasons, because like the first couple seasons were like these really good take downs of that kind of like Christian evangelical culture, and it's gotten away from that to just be what is his name, John Goodman and his ragtag bunch of kids like have all kinds of shenanigans, and it has like nothing to do with the church anymore. It's just not there, but it's still like a fun, illuminating watch. So if you've never seen it before and you're interested, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
maybe the spiritual warfare character is throwing VeggieTales at people, and that makes them Christian.
No, they're fruits specifically.
Yeah, because that actually calls the question: is there a VeggieTales? Is there a metaphor there that I didn't pick up on exactly? But it might just be eat your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, I think it's just vegetables.
Christian.
Austin, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anywhere that our listeners can view more of your work?
Yes. I would first of all like to say, number one, you're a very good host, by the way. This is an excellent, fun time. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for being here.
I'd like to give a few quick shout outs. I want to give shout out to air traffic controllers. I want to give shout out to Turks and Caicos. I want to give shout out to forums as well. Two of my closest friends, like two of the only people who alleviate the male loneliness in my life. I met on a Pokemon forum 15 years ago.
Nice.
So forums are no joke. That's real stuff. And then shout out to the people viewing on YouTube. If you look to your right or scroll down if you're on mobile, if the algorithm's doing its job, you'll see my face and you can click a video. And if it's not meant for you. I guess that's the way it goes.
Turks and Caicos, that's because you just did, I watched part of your video that you were talking with.
Yeah, talking with my friend Mem. We did a podcast. That's a very deep cut lore. It's pretty good. Shout out Turks and Caicos. Shout out to Miko.
Yeah, very good.
I would like to echo his shout out to air traffic controllers, because if they had more at LaGuardia, I would have been home earlier than when I got home.
Everyone jokes that we got to bring back DEI for the air traffic control, but I don't think it's a joke.
I don't think it's a joke either.
It's real. I think it's real.
I think white people don't know how to direct air traffic.
We just don't care.
You can put me on record there.
We just don't care.
All right. I've got recommendations. I would recommend that if you are hiring people for an airport, I would like to recommend that if you enjoyed this episode of Insert Credit, please rate and review our show on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever or however you can. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You can support us directly with your contributions to patreon.com/insertcredit for the aforementioned benefits, question hole related and otherwise. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, you can email me at show@insertcredit.com. That's also where you can send a horrible buzzer if you want to contribute a horrible buzzer to the show. You can join our aforementioned community on forums.insertcredit.com. And if you're listening to this on your MP3 player or whatnot, and you would rather see our faces just for once, you could do that by going to youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Go ahead and wishlist Demon School. Go ahead and subscribe to The Verge. Go ahead and check out the Video Game History Foundation. That's some neat stuff. This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
I'm Annie Austin.
And your game has now been saved.
Wow, you did your name without being asked.
Yeah,
I got used to the. You have a flow.
Yeah.
Where you go that, then that, then that, then that. So once I got used to that from the, I don't know if you were doing some sort of latent education through the speed round thing with the money, but I learned the circle. What circle I don't know if we all have the same circle, but
it was the same circle. That was the same order. You were always after Brandon.
Yeah.
There you go.